Evening race fans, welcome to NAGP Thursday Night GT1 Racing. You're along with Jack Ivy and Ken K-Rod Rodriguez. Hi Ken, how you doing tonight?
Hey Jack, everything is good. We're just here at Road America for our Thursday night GT1 Super Pole qualifying, winding down the season here for these GT1 racers.
Yeah, it's going to be a pressure cooker tonight. This is Super Bowl qualifying, and these guys get one out lap in reverse practice order. So first one out is on your screen is Alex Scott. He's going to get one out lap and one hot flying lap, and that's going to set the position for our 30-minute dash for the cash to see set the starting order and the 30-minute race for our big feature final next week, which is 3 hours.
That's right, Jack. And no pressure on these guys tonight, right? Driving GT1 cars, you get one shot at it and one shot alone, so you got to make it count here. This track is quite the challenging track, especially for these powerful GT1 cars. Down the long front straightaway, I've seen some of these cars reaching upwards of 170 miles an hour, leading into a 90-degree first turn. So no pressure for these guys tonight.
Yeah, it's a fun track. One of my favorite tracks, so it's going to be a lot of fun for these drivers, but I just can't imagine 3 hours of this is going to be very tough to stay on it and stay controlled.
Not to mention, we're gonna have to be well rested to announce that race.
Whoa, well rested and well liquefied.
Absolutely. So get your cooler ready, Jack, and have it right there next to your seat.
Yes, we may have to tag team it for bathroom breaks during that one, Ken.
Absolutely. 3 hours. That's a fairly long race, but I'm looking forward to it, and I expect much excitement. This track is just a fantastic track. Not to mention historical in nature, built in 1950 and opened first in 1955. And it's changed very little over its lifespan. So this is a very historic track and a very fun one too to race.
Well, Alex has just started his hot lap. Do you want to describe the track to our viewers?
Absolutely, and here goes Alex into that was the first turn, I believe it was, as he comes down now into turn number 3, and there's a long straightaway here. It's called actually the Moraine Sweep, which will take him down into turn number 5, which is a 90-degree left-hander turn. And these guys are getting up to about 160, 165 miles per hour here. As he goes into turn number 5, hugs it tight. You can swing out wide. And turn number 6, pretty much the same thing. Another 90-degree. Hug it tight. You can swing out a little wide. Try not to get into the grass. Turn 7 is a dog leg to the right, and that takes you up hurry downs into turn 8, which is a bit of a hook to the left here. These guys get down into about 2nd gear. Turn 9 is the carousel, and it culminates with turn 10, where it takes you out over to the bend. Now up to turn 11 as he goes under the walkway bridge there. Turn 11 coming up. It's a right-hand sweeper, which then throws you onto the kettle bottoms down the back country road here, just about. Here these guys get up to nearly 170 miles an hour. Turn number 12 is a right-hander going through Thunder Valley. A little quick right-left-hander here. It's turn 13, Bill Mitchell Bend, which then throws you on to turn number 14, which is the last sweeper back onto the front straight. And I am anticipating that this is going to be a great overtaking opportunity here.
Boy, he is smoking that Maserati MC12. Wow, and that is one fast lap.
That it is. Alex Scott, first one to go out with a 158.632. I have seen that previous records here are in the 157. Not sure that we're going to get that. We have a track temperature of 107 degrees Fahrenheit and an ambient of 87. So these cars are working with the heat here today, Jack.
Yeah, and we've got Big Al Merriman, the boss, the administrator here at NAGP, out on his hot lap in the big Ford GT1.
Yeah, I jumped on board with Al earlier, and he seemed to have that big Ford GT hooked up. And considering the
And he is pulling some smoke out of the tail end of that Ford GT1 as well.
Yeah, he sure is. Just about to pass. He's going to be a little bit above 0.3, 300ths of a second slower than provisional pole at the moment.
And he is smoking that motor. But with only one hot lap to do, I guess they're going to run them as hot as they possibly can and get those vents closed down to reduce some of the air drag.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys are looking for every ounce of speed they can get out of these cars, and certainly the radiators will be shut down. So, overall, the cars will suffer, but with one lap, it's not so bad. They'll get them back in the garages and fixed up for the race.
There you are, folks. Big Al Merriman, one half of Precision Motor Racing. We haven't seen his partner here tonight, Chris Moses, and Big Al's racing out of Lowell, Massachusetts.
Here he comes around turn number 14 and onto the front straightaway. Let's see if he can lay it down here.
And off the pace for Al.
Yep, about 1.2 seconds off the provisional pole at this time.
On track now, Johnny McIntyre in the Saleen S7R on Pirelli tires, one half of GM Racing.
Yeah, I'd look to have these Saleens do pretty good here on this track. They seem to be very adept at the openness and the sweeping turns here at this location, Jack.
Yeah, the drivers talk pretty highly of the Saleens.
It's a really well-built car.
He's about a half a second off on the first sector split, but so far it's a pretty good time for John McIntyre. That carousel can be really tricky at trying to get the power down and holding that corner and maintaining your speed through there, but it is crucial going back through to the kink in the kettle bottom. So
yeah, absolutely, Jack. Coming out of turn 8 and going into turn 9, which is the beginning of the carousel, a little bit of a tricky loop there. These guys gotta hug the inside line of that car because you have to give yourself a little time for drifting out, so that way you don't lose and scrub off too much speed. You want to maintain that pace going around that carousel.
Yeah, that definitely is a tricky spot there. And as we watch Johnny McIntyre come up to the start-finish line, and about a second and a bit off, not too bad for John though. Let's see how it stands up. Juan Monroy out on track now.
And Juan driving the 550 Ferrari. These cars earlier today also were looking really hooked up on this track, Jack.
Yeah, good looking car and a favored one again for a lot of the drivers of 550.
Absolutely, extremely versatile on a track like this.
And Juan is one half of the SJRT Columbia Racing Team. Coming around for his first sector split times, a little bit of a bobble there, but and Juan has taken that first sector by about 2/100ths of a second, so he has got the car hooked up.
Absolutely, he's flying.
Give you the driver's view here from the cockpit of the 550 Ferrari with Juan Monroy.
Looks like Juan Monroy's got the idea around the carousel. You see him hug the inside line, and he'll drift out and then just nail the throttle down to the firewall.
Yeah, and absolutely no lift at all around that kink.
Oh, that's the, yep, exactly. Then down the kettle bottoms and into turn 12, which is the Canada corner.
Yeah,
that's a bit of a tough. And up the hill to the start-finish line.
And he's looking pretty decent here. Boy, he really lost some time on that last sector, so that's not going to help him out too much.
Yeah, we noticed that he started to slow down in Canada corner and through the Bill Mitchell bend, which was turn 13, which was where he lost a lot of his time there in sector 3.
On board now with Kevin Savoy. Kevin Savoy, one half of the French Connection Racing Team, racing out of Allardville, New Brunswick in Canada. The Flying Frenchman. I'm looking for these guys here, these Flying Frenchmen, to do well. You know, we had some inside info on these guys that they just love getting rid of the wing on these cars to give them some top end speed. So we'll see if this plays out tonight.
Absolutely, and we saw that last week with Laurent Wiseman, where he was running very low wing. Ultimately had an effect on his raceability with the weather changes. But yeah, they're notorious for low wing configurations. They love that top end speed.
Yeah, and these guys don't mind sliding these cars around. That's for sure, and a great competitive team they make.
Absolutely, they're on the brink of drifting.
Well, he sure seems to be motoring along here. Let's see how he does up to the split. He's about a half a second off, so he's definitely got some ground to make up. And way wide into the gravel. And a big swing around, but keep her going because you never know what's going to happen. But we're always going to get one or two who crash out under the pressure.
Yep, and that's the problem with running low downforce wing setups here. If you're running a splitter 1 and wing 6 or 5, you're certainly going to run the risk of spinning your car here. Coming up on the start-finish line, he's going to come across with about a 205 or so.
Yeah, and that is going to put him way back in the pack. And now we're on board with Mikey Graytrix. Mikey Graytrix.
Yeah, Mike Graytrix showing some great bursts of speed as of late, and I know with the GT2 Super Pole, he started, I believe, it was in 9th place, and that was one of the highest positions that we've seen Mike Graytrix in. So good on you, Mike Graytrix. Just keep up the good work and keep your focus, and you'll continue to do good.
Yeah, I was checking some of the stats earlier. He hasn't got that many races in a GT1, but he sure embraces this NAGP and gets the most out of it. So good on you, Mikey.
And he's about 2 seconds off the pace right now, Jack.
Well, that's not gonna be great for him, but as we saw with our previous driver there, that hey, anything can happen. Kevin Savoy had a bobble, so as long as Mikey keeps it clean, he is not going to be the last one in the pack.
Oh, absolutely.
Big slide.
Wow. Yeah, it looks like he's babying the car around the track. This is typically not my great tricks. I've raced with him before, and I know he's a fast competitor. So here wondering maybe if he's got the setup right or not. He's going way wide here as well.
Well, I think this Super Pole lends itself to maybe overdriving the car, trying to get maybe a little more speed out of it than you're really capable of getting.
Absolutely. I have a motto. When I race with a comfortable setup, one that's going to get me around the track as fast as I can go, and a stable setup, right?
Yeah, and that puts Mikey in provisionally in 6th, and out on track is Dan Wilkerson. Dan Wilkerson racing out of New Jersey in the Viper.
Gotta love that Viper. I've tested that Viper a couple of times around some of the tracks that we've raced in GT1, and it's a very stable, very predictable car. I like it.
Well, let's see how Dan likes it tonight. It'll put him up the grid.
Absolutely. I can't help but think here, Jack, that some of these guys' nerves must be through the roof. So, I mean, Super Pole qualifying, all eyes are on you. I can just imagine that the drivers in their pit stalls they have their televisions tuned to the folks out on the track.
Yeah, and just to let the viewers know, we have what's known as the Heckler's Channel here between the drivers, so you can bet they're all in there critiquing each other, and they all know this too.
Absolutely. So the pressure's on them to perform cleanly, right?
Well, I think cleanly is the key here. Get your time in. You've only got one opportunity to do it. Get your time in here, even though it might not be your best time. And just try and make your way up the grid as far as you can for the start of the 30-minute dash for the cash. Dan's going to be a few seconds off. Well, Dan's a little ways off there, but hey, good effort. And it looks like we've got Sergio Calderon out next.
Yep, Sergio is now making his way around 14, and I see that Matt Taylor is now lined up at the end of pit road, ready to start his out lap as Sergio comes by for his flying lap now.
And Sergio's also in a Ferrari 550 on Michelin tires, the other half of SJRT Columbia. A slippery little corner down there.
Yeah, it certainly is, considering that you can take it tight and swing wide. I'm noticing that a lot of these drivers are kind of babying the throttle around that corner tonight.
Well, I have, I was out doing some testing earlier, and definitely getting on the throttle. You've got to feather it nicely, because you can definitely loop the car if you get on the throttle too quickly and too aggressively on that corner.
Yep, absolutely. Watching Sergio Calderon just come out of that carousel now to the kink. And down the back straight to Kettle Bottoms. Hard on the brakes into turn number 12.
Nice and clean through there. A lot of the guys are taking that a little wide.
And here is one of the most crucial parts of your driving. You see, that turn 14 sweeper is one that I'm not sure that some of these guys are realizing they can actually take it a bit faster, because you have a lot of nice extra curbing on the left side there that'll allow you to swing out wide and just get right back on the throttle real quick.
And they need to get off that corner real fast, because that's leading into the Road America straight, and that's a big long straight, and boy, you carry that extra speed all the way down the straight. So that is one of the critical corners as far as I can see there.
That's right. And you know, just thinking about this now, Jack, we all know that typically it takes about 3 or 4 laps for your tires to get up to operating temperature, to peak operating temperature. There are no tire warmers in GT racing, so I mean, these guys are on their out lap and they're on cold tires, and I can just imagine that when they come for their flying lap, their tires are just starting to warm up.
Yeah, that's why they've got to really, push that out lap. That out lap, even though it's a non-timed lap, they've got to push that to get the heat up in the car and get the heat up in the tires. So we've got
absolutely, and then that'll.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that that out lap is crucial, because in getting the tire temperatures up, you're also going to get your pressures up.
Ferrari racing out of Iowa. Coming around to the second sector split. And Matt Taylor looking pretty respectable out there, just about just over a second off the pace.
We've got Chuck Carter coming up next after Matt Taylor finishes his hot lap.
And Matt had a little bit of trouble on that corner 14 as well.
You know, I'm watching these guys come around turn 14, and it almost seems as that they're noticing at the last second that, hey, I got some extra curbing over here, let me take advantage of it. By that time, sometimes it's just a little bit too late. You got to get on the throttle a lot earlier than that.
Yeah, that was still a pretty good run for Matt. Good on him. He's not too far off the current pace right now. And out on track, we got Chuck Carter. Chuck's racing out of Salt Lake City, Utah, in Koenigsegg, 1/2 of Plastic Hoosier Racing. Yeah, I wonder what this car is going to be like around this track.
Yeah, I'd be curious as well. I know that the Koenigsegg is quite a car to handle in terms of setup. It's a complex car. I know that it's when it's on, it's fast.
Well, I have raced the GT2 version and quite liked it. It was a nimble little car. Not that I could ever get the thing going very fast, but I thought it was quite the nimble car.
Absolutely.
Chuck about 1.5 seconds off the first sector split. Coming even close to cutting on this track.
Nope, not at all. Quite the opposite, actually, Jack. It looks like these guys are trying to stay away from them curbs as much as possible. Not sure if it's a setup, if it's a setup issue or what have you, but they're staying quite a bit of ways.
Well, in practice last night, I did find that the curbs were a little slippy.
Jumping around turn 14 and up the Road America straight to the start-finish line.
And a 201 for Chuck. So provisionally in 6th spot. On track now, we got Thomas Schubeck. And Thomas in the Panos, racing out of Costa Mesa, California. I love this car. I just love the look at it. I hadn't driven it, so I have no idea what it handles like. But hang in there, Thomas. I know he's had some rough luck with some incidents this year. But, boy, I sure like to see these guys stick around and race with us.
Yeah, he has, but he does like that Panos. He's got it figured out to his liking, it looks like, because when I see him racing it around, he seems very comfortable driving it cleanly and smoothly.
Yeah, he is stuck with the car, so hopefully he's feeling comfortable, because you're definitely going to need of a second off, so he is he's doing quite well out there.
Coming around the carousel now.
That corner is so nice when you hit it right, along with the kink. It is, and he looks like he has got that thing just hooked right up right now. Currently about 2 seconds off the pace, but if he can keep it clean for the rest, he'll leave him in good standing. Well, he definitely used the apron coming off that turn 14 and puts him in a provisional 6th place.
Good on Thomas Schubeck.
Out on track now, we've got Christian Hamilton in the Lister, one half of Elite Motorsport. And his partner David Canavan. David and Christian both love this Lister.
Yeah, the Lister's a proven competitor amongst GT1 cars. It's a stable, it's a very stable vehicle. Its real life street counterpart has perfect 50-50 distribution, front to rear and left to right. So it's a crowd favorite.
Well, I gotta say this team's one of our crowd favorites too. A couple more personal guys can't get, and look at that, boy, he is right on there. He's just a couple 100ths of a second off provisional pace right now.
And he has taken advantage of the entire track, which is a good thing to see.
Yeah, Christian is one of our stablemate drivers out here. Been around a long time. Took a little bit of a break and back at it again.
Good on Christian. No lift through the kink. Should give him a fairly decent time. About 0.08 of a second off the pace at this point.
Yep, this last sector fairly technical. It's the part of the track I like the best, especially where we're coming up to now. This is a lot of fun, up and over and around into turn 14.
And it it looks like he's got a fairly decent run coming up the hill. Good on Christian Hamilton. That was some good, clean driving there.
And out on track now for his hot lap, we've got Ryan Schleif. Ryan racing out of New Jersey. And if I'm not mistaken, that's in the big Aston Martin. This has been a car I just couldn't handle either in GT1 or GT2. I just could not get this car motoring, but other drivers sure can seem to make this car fly. A lot of guts down the straights.
Yeah, Mike Matrix is one of those Aston Martin lovers. I love the Aston Martin myself. I'm adept to the car, and in terms of setups, I'm pretty okay with it. So I like the car. I like its stability. I love more so its speed. It's a very, very quick car out of them corners.
Man, that car just seems so wide to me when I'm driving that. It just seems like a big, wide, heavy car. I don't know why. Some straight line speed. Oh, a big bobble there by Ryan. But just about a second off, and that's in the second sector, so he's got a pretty decent ride going.
He's coming up to the technical section of our track here now. That'll put him on to turn 14. Take it right. He may have a chance of improving his time a little bit. And I gotta tell you that that's one of the best cornering around 14 that I have seen so far.
And that puts him in provisional 5, so good on you, Ryan. Nice run. And I got
with David Rowley.
Yeah, I gotta say, Ken, these guys are stacking themselves up really well tonight. You know, there hasn't been an interruption here so far. They're right there. They're ready to go. This is great to see. There's been no bobbles, no misses at all. So good on the drivers. They're eager tonight.
We have Alex Scott, provisional pole with 158.6. Juan Monroy sitting second, and Al Merriman in third. Christian Hamilton provisionally fourth. Ryan Schleif in fifth. John McIntyre in sixth. Matt Taylor seventh. Thomas Schubeck eighth. Chuck Carter 9. Sergio Calderon, good on you, in 10. Dan Wilkerson with 11. Kevin Savall with 12. And Mike Ratrix provisionally in 13th.
And Rowley out there. He is David Rowley. He's in the Koenigsegg, the other half of the Plastic Hoosier racing team out of Wallasey in Great Britain. I got to say thanks to all you guys over in Britain and Ireland and elsewhere that race with us. You're in crazy time zones. I don't know how you do it, but we appreciate your support of the league.
Yes, that we absolutely do, and it's just a testament to what has been built here at NAGP. It is what many consider to be the premier online racing league, considering that we are not a big money league, but we do have some of the best virtual drivers on the face of this earth racing right here at NAGP.
Well, not only that, Ken, we have some of the best race broadcasters, bar none.
That is absolutely true. I couldn't agree with you more, Jack.
Rally, burning up the track to take provisional P2.
Good on David.
Out now, Andre Cole. Andre Cole running the McLaren F1 on Michelin tires, the other half of H&C Racing out of Bogota, Colombia. Another one of our international drivers here. Love these McLarens.
Now I gotta tell you, Jack, I have never had much luck with the McLaren F1 car. I could never figure out its suspension and its geometry, and I've just never been able to get it to motor around a track to my liking. But looks like these guys here have figured it out. They are making the best of it.
Oh, I can't even get the McLaren around the track without keep going off the track or keeping it on the track. But I just love the look of the car. High revving car. The car is sleek. Looks like what I think a race car should look like. And as you said, I think they're a handful to drive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But these guys seem to, he's a little bit of a bobble there for Andres Cole, but these guys for the most part seem to have this car figured out. They're quick with it, and he's coming around the carousel now, holding a nice tight line.
And a couple of seconds off the pace.
As he comes around a turn 14 sweeper. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He was coming around
Canada corner.
into the technical section of the track. Now we're on turn 14.
And provisionally in P9 for Andre. Andrew, originally from Washington, D.C., racing out of Los Angeles. Well,
Big LA.
Let's see if Andrew can lay down a time similar to Big Al. They're in similar cars. Boy, those big Fords seem to slide around a little bit too much for me.
Yeah, but I think that's part of their speed secret there, Al, because these guys haven't figured out where they can slide the car just enough to get around a corner without losing too much time and too much speed.
In around the carousel with Andrew Werner. This kink's a little tricky corner on the track as well.
Yeah, it is. Actually, the kink in this track is akin to the dogleg at the Phoenix, Arizona Oval, because you have a dogleg going back down the back, which goes over just a slight hump, and it is akin to an off-camber turn. So you got to take it just right, otherwise you risk losing it.
And taking full advantage of that apron
Andrew
there.
Werner. Yeah, I was just going to say that he is just motoring that car around, trying to get as best a time as he can.
Leaves him in P8.
And Sam Rolfe now out on the track, starting his hot lap.
Sam Rolfe also in a Ferrari 550, one half of Rolfe Sport Racing, racing out of Tucson, Arizona. You know, Sam's really come along in the last couple of seasons at NAGP, and he has got one tough competitor as a teammate in this GT1 series, and Mr. Sportelli.
Yep, absolutely. I was watching Sportelli a little earlier, and he's motoring that Ferrari 550 around like nobody's business, considering what he did back in season 13. He finished second in this race.
Well, we won't count him out then, because this is bound to be one of his favorite tracks too.
Absolutely.
On board with Sam as he comes around the carousel. And flat out through.
Just passing Cannon Corner now into the Bell Mitchell Bend. And on to turn 14. Got to take it just right. Out, in, and out.
And smoke pouring out of the back of that Ferrari. Great time for Sam. Puts him up into provisional P4. Way to go, Sam. And on track now with Marco Condi. One of our more colorful drivers we have here at NAGP. Boy, we all love Marco. He's in the Lambo, one half of source code. He's running out of California. And, geez, I just caught the drivers all chatting beforehand. Marco had to run out to the pharmacy, pick his wife up some medicine just before. So he just barely got back in time to get his flying lap in. Good on you, Marco.
Wow, and I guess that's why we saw him sit out one qualifier just a little while ago. So I was wondering about that. But good on you, Marco, for getting back, and we look to see you doing pretty well here.
Yeah, he really likes the high revving mid-engine cars, his favorites, and he is not far off the pace in the first sector. So he's going to do quite well here. Marco loves the wet tracks as well. He's always done well in the rain, but boy, I got to tell you, Ken, I am hoping we get some dry conditions for this half-hour dash.
Absolutely, I'd like to see some dry conditions. These GT1 drivers have unfortunately had to endure a lot of rain this season, but we're hopeful that these conditions here will stay dry. The qualifier now is a perfect temperature. Hope to see some very similar temperatures for the race.
Yeah, he's about a second off. He had a little trouble going through the carousel there. He was breathing the throttle quite a bit to get his line through that apex there. Hard on the throttle as he comes up. And out on track now with...
Good on Marco.
Yeah, out on track now with John Sportelli, the other half of Raw Sport Racing in a Ferrari 550. John is racing out of Liverpool, New York.
Boy, that is way upstate.
And so far, John looks like he's running a really clean line around those first two corners.
Yep. John is what I consider one of our more faster guys in that Ferrari. He's really got that car nailed down, and he drives clean lines.
And you got that right, because he is right on pace for pole.
Good on John Sportelli. Just keep it clean, and we may see a new pole sitter tonight.
On board with John Sportelli as he heads into the carousel.
And this is such a crucial part of the track. This is where we've seen a lot of guys, a lot of drivers tonight, Jack, lose some very, very crucial tenths of a second.
Yeah, and John just, grabbed the wheel on the curb there, and, as innocent as that looks, that's going to cost him a little bit of time.
Yep, it puts him about a second off the pace now.
P8 for John. That little bit of curb, I think, cost him there.
Yeah, it certainly did. When it slows you down enough where you're losing traction, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you precious tenths.
Out on track now with Lauren Weisman. Lauren, the other half of the Flying Frenchman, the French Connection, in the Nissan R35. So I'm looking for a super hot lap here. So let's keep our eye on this. Way wide there, but let's keep our eye on Lauren. And he is right on pace in that first sector.
Absolutely, just 25 100ths of a second off pace right now, so that is really, really close. If he can find a way to make up some time, it's a huge chunk of that curb.
And a big bobble, and that is going to cost him dearly. And you know what? That is reminiscent of Savoy's run as well.
Ironically, yes.
Well, you can bet that they're running very similar setups, so I guess we shouldn't be too surprised.
Oh, he almost loses it coming around that turn.
Good recovery, but cars going sideways is going to cost him time.
Nope, probably not.
And puts him in P5, but I think he could have done a lot better.
I believe so. And we are now on board with John Ludden. John Ludden, one of our newer GT1 racers here. Welcome, John.
Yeah, it's great to see. Boy, I watched this fellow in practice last night, Ken, and this guy is quick. He is in that Zonda, and boy, he was very, very fast last night. Got some inside intel. Alex White told me that he's a pretty competitive driver coming from Gamers Crib, so welcome to NAGP, John.
Yep, welcome, and we look to see some good things from this driver in the coming seasons. Hopefully he'll make himself at home here with us.
And I did notice I had
those slides are time costing.
Yeah, and I did notice last night I was driving the Zonda around the track, and it did not like these curbs at all. Not at all. But he sure looked good on that carousel.
The Pagani. Yeah, he sure did. And that Pagani, if I'm not mistaken, is a mid-engine car, correct?
I believe you're right. And look at that. He's only 3/100ths off the second sector split time. So he is putting in a decent lap here.
Oh, yeah. This is a hot lap for him. And getting back to what you were saying about the car not liking the curbs. Mid-engine cars and curbs do not mix very well. Their balance is easy to throw off. As John Ludden comes around turn 14, up the front straight.
This is looking good.
And boy, oh boy.
Well, provisionally P2. He's got to be pretty happy there.
About a half a second off the pace.
Good on you, John. Good to see you out. We always like to see new guys come and challenge our resident aliens, which they hate being called. They're just not really aliens. They're just extremely talented at getting these cars around the track.
Speaking of which, Rich Roman is out on the track.
And this is our current points leader, so if anyone is going to take the provisional pole away from the drivers that are already out, it is going to be this fella right here, Mr. Roman.
With just 4 drivers left after Roman, it's going to get pretty interesting here now.
Yep, Rich is driving the McLaren F1, the other half of H&C Racing out of Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. And he is got that car motoring.
He's coming up on sector 2 time here fairly soon, fairly quickly as he goes around the carousel. And man, he just flew around that carousel.
No lift at all in the kink. And he has got the provisional pole if he can hang on to the rest of this lap.
I'm coming into Canada Corner. This is the most technical section of our track.
Not even a lift going through there. Boy, he is really putting the hammer down.
And he's got good pace coming up this hill, best I've seen so far. So I'm looking for Rich Roman to take the provisional pole right here, right now.
And you called it, Ken.
By about 251 thousandths of a second, so these cars are close.
Yeah, and talking about close, out on track now is Andre Prado. Andre is sitting currently 3rd in the driver's points in the Saline, and he is one half of Anger Racing out of Colombia, another one of our international drivers. And this guy is the uber competitor.
Yeah, absolutely. Andres Prado, no matter what the conditions, no matter what the circumstance, always finds a way to go really fast. He loves speed, he loves driving, and he loves the competition. I look for a lot of good things out of Andres Prado tonight and next week and for times to come.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to matter where this guy starts. You know he is going to end up at the top. We've watched him gain as many as over 20 spots in a race. One of our fiercest competitors here.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's such a joy to watch. When he's on, he's on.
Way wide in that carousel portion, though.
Yeah, that's going to cost him some precious tenths of a second there, Jack.
And you called that one right. He is about a half a second off the pace.
Still an opportunity for Andres, however, to make up some time here.
Yep, this last corner is so critical. The guys who have nailed it have really picked up speed going up the hill. They need that momentum to get them up that hill.
Yep, and that's one of the biggest challenges of this track is that as you're approaching the start-finish line, you are coming up a hill.
So that puts Andre in provisional P3. And out now is Alex White. We can see him doing the wiggle woggle down the track, maybe trying to get a little bit of heat in those tires. Alex, I think, is going to like
Boy,
this.
oh boy.
I think Alex is going to like this because
absolutely.
he's only carrying 20 kilograms, and for Alex, that's nothing.
He reached the top speed down at the end of Road America Straight of 181 miles an hour.
Well, this guy could drive a shopping
flying.
cart to the front of the pack. Alex White. He is driving out of Irvine, Scotland, just outside of Glasgow. Big shout out there to his dad in Australia. Alex's dad can't watch tonight, but he is a frequent viewer of NAGP TV. And thank you, Mr. White, for joining us all this season, and hopefully you can make it for the final.
Alex coming around the carousel in that Chevy Mad Croc Corvette. Swings out a little bit wide. That might cost him a little bit there, Jack.
Well, if anybody can recover, this guy can. And just a little bit off the pace there. He's one guy who seems to be able to drag his tires off the track into a bit of a gravel, and it doesn't even seem to cost him that much time. I don't know how he does that.
I don't know how he does that either. He's got some good pace coming off of turn 14, though.
And he nailed that like very few of the other guys have. Good enough for P3. And out on track now, the wonder from down under, Aaron Parsons. Aaron Parsons in a McLaren F1, one half a T-Broke Dam Bam, racing out of Australia. Another one of our international drivers. I love watching this guy race. Boy, oh boy.
Absolutely, Jack. I have to agree with you. Aaron is another joy to watch. This is Mr. Smooth. Mr. I drive the line no matter what. And I look for him to do really well here tonight.
He is also a super tactician. I mean, he knows when to pit. He knows when to stay out. He seems to make very, very few mistakes. A little bit of a bobble there, but you can bet he is pressing hard.
Does a fine job of feathering the throttle to hold that line tight and then swing out wide on the exit.
And nice around the kink, nice and smooth. This guy is a master at braking too. That's as clean as I've seen anybody take that corner there. And up the hill for Mr. Parsons. This is looking really good here. P1. Wow.
With a 158 flat for Aaron Parsons. Good on you, Aaron.
Boy, oh boy, I'm not surprised, but I am. I mean, that guy just seems to pull it out of the hat. That's why he's the wonder from down under as far as I'm concerned. My hero at NAGP, Mr. Parsons. But out on track now is the instructor, Brad Merys. Brad, the other half of Anger Racing, and what a team they've got going. Brad Merys and Andre Prado in the Saleen S7R.
Yep, absolutely. Brad is our final competitor of the Super Pole qualifying session. So he's going to try and make it count as much as he possibly can. And he is just about a half a second ahead of the pole time right now.
Wow, and that's incredible. I mean, that's a huge spread for just the first sector.
I gotta tell you, Jack, that this doesn't surprise me. Season 13 winner, Brad Merys. So he's familiar with this track. I'm sure he loves it. He's got it well planned out. I bet you anything, he's probably got his mind set on taking pole tonight.
And he also has his mind set on the Drivers' Champion. Brad is sitting in second place behind Rich Roman for our Drivers' Championship. And you know what? He would like nothing more to win the Drivers' Championship and the Team Championship this year. I am certain of that.
Well, he's certainly on pace to do so. If he can nail turn 14, and it looks like he does, he's probably got the best pace that we have seen of the night coming out of 14 and up the hill.
And carried a lot of speed up that hill, too. Bingo.
And there you have it.
A 157.627. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't think we thought we wouldn't see those 157s in here.
No, actually, well, Andres Prado's season 13 pole still stands as the record at 157.5. But, man, if this isn't darn close.
It sure is. And Brad Merys was the only driver tonight to make it into the 157s. Everyone else, we got 5 drivers behind him in 158. So, congratulations, Brad Merys. Just a little shout out to everybody. If you're looking for some help in NAGP, get hold of Brad or put up a post on our board and tell him you want some instruction. He's more than happy. He's one of our instructors, more than happy to get out and help you up with setup and driving tips. He worked with me in season 1, didn't help me that much, but more my fault than Brad's. But Brad's one of our best instructors we have here, so give him a shout out.
Absolutely. And Jack, we're going to take a 60-second break here as we prepare ourselves for race time.
Yep, good. We're just going to take a break for qualifying too, see if any other drivers want to join in. And I'm hoping we get Chris Moses in here. I don't know what's happened to Chris tonight, but sure would like to see him compete tonight.
Absolutely, and we will be right back.
Well, folks, just a little reminder that NAGP is run by your donation dollars. If you like what you see here, if you like racing with us, you like watching the TV, go ahead, make a donation. Every dollar counts. And while we're waiting for Quali 2 to wind down, in the Drivers' Championship, we got Rich Roman in first in 141 points, followed by Brad Merys with 135. Now, Brad Merys just picked up 3 points. Oh, no, we haven't for the quali race yet. But Andre Prado in 119, Aaron Parsons in 118, and Juan Monroy in 90. Now, going back to Aaron Parsons at 118, it is still mathematically possible that Aaron Parsons can win the Drivers' Championship, so everything's on the line. In the Team Championship, congratulations to Anger Racing, Brad Merys and Andre Prado. What a dynamic duo. What a show they put on for us this season. I got to thank you. It's been a pleasure to broadcast and watch you two guys. You have run away, absolutely checked out with the Team Championship. Second place went to T. Broke Dam Bam, and in number 3 spot is Agency Racing. So this race is critical for the number 2 spot. Be both the 2 nights cumulative races. Last week we had a few penalties go on. Mikey Graytrick's got a warning for getting into Matt Taylor. Gup Douglas. Gup has a no qual and a 15-second sit still. He ran into Salem and won. Salem had to rejoin last. So, Gupper, you got your penalty. You're going to have to sit still too. And we had a few other incidents. Graytricks and Calderoni got 3 wide at the bus exit of the bus stop, and that was deemed a racing incident. We also had timestamps submitted. Joliker versus Prado. Andrew Prado makes contact at the apex turn 9, but had not established his inside position in the normal turn-in point. Prado doesn't wait for Joliker to rejoin, so Prado is carrying an extra 20 kilograms, and that might explain why he is sitting down in P6 right now. At timestamp 38:55, we had a little bit of an incident with Andre Cole. He didn't lock down his car. He rolled backward, and Thomas Schubeck took a huge hit from that. So, Andre Cole is going to be carrying 40 Ks for that incident. Well, cars are out for warm-up, and you're back?
I am back, Jack, and I was just going to comment on what you were stating there. We saw some spectacular crashes, actually, but tonight we're hoping to get a clean race in with these guys. It's a 30-minute qualifying race for Ps 3 and beyond. The first 2 have been locked in, right? So,
absolutely correct. Yeah. P1 and 2, so Merys and Parsons will start the final race in P1 and 2. It is a dash for the cash, and I know you're thinking that we're going to have a good, clean race, but man, oh man, history has told me that when they've only got 30 minutes, they are not holding back in this league.
Yeah, I can imagine not, considering that they want to get the best starting position for next week's 3-hour race. Do you happen to know if we've seen Chris Moses come on tonight?
No, I mentioned that while you were taking a break, and I was really hoping he was going to join up in Quali 2, but we'll update everybody with the news. I'm really going to miss having him out there. He's always exciting, and he's one of the big reasons that this place is so much fun to race in. So hope everything's well with Chris, and hope it's just work-related and not anything more.
Absolutely, and if he's able to join from the back of the field next week, we certainly would love to have Chris join us. He's always a pleasure to watch. He was, had he been on tonight, he was my pick for tonight, but that's not to be. So we're going to have to see how this shapes up tonight.
Yeah, and it really wouldn't matter where Chris is going to start this race next week. With 3 hours, he has time to make it back up and be a threat.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you always say, Jack, he is the pit wizard. So certainly 3-hour race, long time. There is absolutely no need to be in a rush for anything. And I'm sure that Chris, should he join us next week, will make the best of it.
Yeah, and we're going to have multiple pit stops next week, so that gives him even more opportunity to be leapfrogging guys as their pit crews languish behind his speedy NASCAR-style changes.
Yes, indeed.
So we've got drivers out on the track for the warm-up. What do you say? Should we run down the order while we got a couple of minutes here?
Absolutely. Why don't you go ahead and start it off, partner?
We've got Brad Merys in P1, followed by Aaron Parsons in P2, Rich Roman in 3rd, Alex Scott in 4th, and Alex White in 5th. Good on you, Alex White.
And starting in the 6th position, Andres Prato. John Ludden, our newcomer, starts in P7. Good on you, John. David Raleigh in 8th. Juan Monroy will start in 9th, and Sam Rolfe in the 10th spot.
Yeah, it's a great starting position for Sam Rolfe. Outran his mentor, John Sportelli. So good on you, Sam. In 11 is one half of the Flying Frenchman, Laurent Weisman. Big Al the Boss Merriman in P12, Christian Hamilton in 13, Mark O'Connie in 14th, and John Sportelli in 15.
Starting 16 is Ryan Schleif, John Emack starting in P17, Andrew Werner in 18th. Matt Taylor will come off the grid in 19th, and Andres Cole in your 20th position.
Starting in 21st is Thomas Schubeck, Chuck Carter in 22nd, Sergio Calderon in 23rd, Dan Wilkerson in 24th, and Kevin Savoie with the big bobble on the track in 25th.
And starting in your 26th spot will be Mike Graytrix, 27th, David Canavan, 29th, Gup Douglas, and starting in 30th position for the evening, Salem Montgomery Jr.
And we're only going to be doing 12 laps tonight, so it's going to go rather quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. This will be a short one.
Yeah, and the start's going to be critical as well, so we can look for a lot of action. It's going to be tough keeping up to this first lap, I'm going to tell you.
Absolutely, Jack. But we will manage.
See, we've got a viewer chatting into me. I'm sorry, my eyesight is so bad I can't read the viewer, but if you want to type in caps, we'll be able to read it. Maybe you can grab that one, Ken. I don't know if you're set up for it.
Absolutely. Looks like Lantern Rouge was giving big ups to Andrew Werner. He's a fan of Andrew Werner there. His second entry, Moses has zero chance for next week, I guess, considering that Chris Moses has to start at the back of the field. But we never count anybody out around here at NAGP.
Well, I would never say never when it comes to Mr. Moses, but Lantern Rouge, we are definitely going to give Mr. Werner some camera time for you to watch your favorite driver. Thanks for joining us at NAGP.
Absolutely. So what do you think, Jack? 30-minute race coming up?
It's going to be a barn burner, I'm telling you, Ken. But, I'm going with my pre-race chat that we had. I'm going with my man, the wonder from down under. I'm going with Aaron Parsons. I'm just feeling real good, but boy, oh boy, that Brad Merys put on a clinic there in that Super Bowl qualifying.
I think that Aaron Parsons is a very, very good pick, and like I said, had Chris Moses been here tonight, considering the track conditions, 70 degrees and dry, 59 ambient temperature, he would have been my pick, but my second pick tonight goes to Season 13's winner, Brad Merys.
Well, both great picks, and holy smokes, boy, Brad sure laid down one smoking hot lap, and if that's anywhere near his race pace, if he gets away clean, it's going to be hard for these guys to catch him.
Yep, absolutely. But you know what? In all fairness, he has the Professor Aaron Parsons right behind him. So it's gonna be a handful for any driver that finds himself at the lead of this pack. Considering the competition that's out there today, as we get ready to go green in about less than a minute here, Jack.
Yep, this is it. This is the 30-minute qualifying for our finale. As the drivers are jumping in and out of their pit stalls, making last-minute changes, but it looks like we finally have got some ideal race conditions.
Yes, we do. 73-degree Fahrenheit temperature, 59 in the ambient. Our conditions and forecast call for sunny weather. So let's hope for some better temperature with about 5 seconds before the lights come on.
And we're ready to go for 12 laps at GT1. And they're off. And Merys off to a great start with Parsons right in behind, Roman in third. And it looks nice and tight there, but boy, oh boy, Brad is just smoked out in front. How's it look back there?
Yep, absolutely. I'm actually on board with Aaron Parsons right now, watching as Mr. Merys slides that Celine wide into turn 1, but he holds it together and he hangs on to the first spot. Boy, these guys are just nose to tail in it right now.
Yeah, and Parsons all over the back of Merys. But as you said, Brad's going to drive his line. It's going to be tough to get around. These two guys are going to go at it from the drop of the hat.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially, oh, we're getting drops already. I'm surprised we're having folks drop off. But the important thing here, considering that your first 2 positions are locked in for next week, Jack, P3 and on, these guys are going to be looking to improve on their qualifying times from tonight. As Alex White goes way off into the grass.
And I'm just cycling through the cars here. We've got Canavan down to 21st position, so something happened there. And along with John Luden in the Zonda is down to 24th. So we've had some interesting stuff going on early.
Yep, just trying to pick out if there's any damage on that car for the Zonda.
Well, we still have, back up front, we still have Brad Merys coming around turn 14 with Mr. Parsons right on his tail, and it looks like Mr. Parsons is probably going to try and catch a draft off him.
Looks like Parsons trying to get some toe off of Brad Merys to try and take over. And again, these guys are locked in for next week, so wherever they finish doesn't really matter tonight.
No, but race on.
Race on. It's still competition.
And
Rich
Parsons
Roman moving up into P3.
And Parsons looking everywhere, inside, outside. So we got Merys in 1, Parsons in 2, Roman in 3, and they're gapping themselves out. Alex Scott in 4th with Andre Prado right behind him. In 5th, we've got Prado in 5th, Rally in 6th with Sam Rolfe all over the back of him. Good on you, Sam. Boy, Sam's having a drive of his life right now. Juan Monroy in 8th, Weisman in 9th, Sportelli in 10, Alex White dropping back to 11 with Marco Conti and Al Merriman all over the back of Marco Conti. Al making a move on Conti, in, out, couldn't quite complete it. And there you go, is Andrew Werner in behind them. And boy, we are tight, tight, tight.
Yeah, absolutely, Jack. Middle of the pack is where you get some of the greatest racing action. These guys are battling and vying for position right now for next week's race. So they will try to improve on their qualifying positions, as I said from earlier on today. And this makes for some very close bumper-to-bumper racing.
We had Alex Scott off the track, and he is now dropped back to 24th. Salem Montgomery in 25th, Thomas Schubeck in 26th, Cole in 27th, and Gup Douglas all over the back of Andre Cole, and Gup making a move on the inside, and Andre says, not this time.
Yeah, we've had a couple of drivers here with some bad breaks tonight. John Ludden dropping down to 23rd, Alex Scott down to 24th. It's unfortunate.
Still up in front, we've got our leader, Brad Merys, but I think he has got a whole rear view mirror just absolutely full of that McLaren.
Yep, absolutely. 0.300 of a second separation between first and second. And Rich Roman about 2 seconds back. I'm pretty sure that Rich Roman's going to try and pull up on these two fairly quickly.
Well, you know, it's just going to take one little bit of contact between Merys and Parsons, and Roman's going to capitalize on that, close that gap, and maybe even sail on through. Very close so far. 1, 2, 3. Quite a ways back from Roman to Prado.
Well, in all fairness, Prado is carrying 132 pounds of ballast. That's That's a lot of ballast.
That's like having a very slender passenger in your car. And a big wobble by just a little tiny bit. And that's allowed Roman to set his sights squarely on Aaron Parsons. So they've gapped themselves out just a little bit down, but not so much that we've seen the end of this competition. Brado in P4. Nope. David Rowley up to 5, and Sam Rolfe Rowley in 6th, Sam Rolfe in 7th. So Sam having a great drive tonight, and he's not being pressured too badly at the moment. Juan Monroy in 8th, but there is Weisman all over the back of Monroy, so we can look at, gonna hang on here for a second.
And just a quick update there, Jack. We did lose Alex Scott. He did get a DNF, unfortunately. So he has parked it, and he's done for the evening.
Well, that's too bad. Don't like to see that happen. He had a pretty good qualifying. So we got Weisman in 8. Sportelli is now up behind Weisman, and there's Alex White in behind Sportelli. So that is quite the speedy group of cars in that freight train.
Absolutely. Not to be counted out, Kevin Savoy right behind Alex White, albeit a little bit of ways, but he's making a push forward.
Yep, we've got Monroy, Weisman, Sportelli, and White all nose to tail. Savoy has got a bumper full of Marco Conti up behind him in the Lambo. Marco drifting that Lambo around the kink and hanging onto the back end of that Nissan and looking for a way around. On board now with Marco.
Good on Marco. He has certainly seemed to show a lot of improvement over the last few weeks. Great sportsman, and he loves his competition. He loves competitive racing, and he's really good at it, especially in the rain.
Yeah, I love watching that guy in the rain. Very smooth, but like we mentioned before, one of our colorful characters here at NAGP. And hanging on to P13 is Andrew Werner. 14 is Canavan. So 14, 15 teammates, Canavan and Christian Hamilton, but Hamilton has got Al Merriman in the Big Ford GT all over the back of him. Hamilton a little wide, but hangs on.
Going back to Andrew Werner in P13, he's got that Ford GT1 looking real crisp and clean. He's running some really good lines.
Well, another great competitor we've got there in Werner. Now it looks like Big Al is going to take a run at Hamilton, but nope, keeps it clean in that corner. Ryan Schleif in P17. Oh, go ahead.
And on the broadcast chat, we have Alex Scott that has joined us. Scott, Alex, we've seen what happened, and we feel it's most unfortunate. We wish you a lot of luck for next week's race, if you plan on joining us.
A little farther back in the pack, we've got Dan Wilkerson in 19, and all over the back of him is Thomas Schubeck in the Panos, followed by Chuck Carter. And boy, those guys are fighting it out back there. So we've got Chuck Carter in 22, Andre Cole in 20. Back up in front with your race leader, Brad Merys, still out in front.
Boy, oh boy, P's 1 and 2, these guys have just checked out. I'm on board here with Rich Roman, and I have no sight of Parsons or Merys anywhere near him.
Yeah, you know, the pace Brad showed in that quali, if his race pace was anywhere near there, these guys are really going to be pushing their cars. And we do. We see Brad Merys going wide, and there goes Aaron Parsons up on the inside. Aaron all over the back of Brad Merys, but Brad Merys has hung on to the lead. I have no idea how, but good, clean racing by these two guys up front.
Absolutely, Brad Merys not giving an inch to his competitor Aaron Parsons to get by.
Wow,
and
I thought...
good on you, Alex Scott, that you will be...
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say good on you, Alex Scott. He plans on joining us next week for the GT1 finale.
Well, that's great because you had a really good qualifying effort going there, and I'm sure in the 3 hours, set your pace, and you'll make it right up there well in the points. Way to go.
Absolutely, and just to let you know, Jack, Lantern Rouge in our broadcast chat there, that's none other than Mr. David Poole.
Well, welcome, David. A master tactician when it comes to setting up cars.
Absolutely.
So we're 1-2, Merys and Parsons. Rich Roman in 3, and Rich is being hunted down by Andre Prado. So Prado's starting to close up, and Roman off wide in a big wobble. He's off in the grass, and that is going to allow Mr. Prado right up behind him, and that is not what Mr. Roman wants.
Not at all. Not knowing Andres Prado, he will try and look inside, outside, and if you give him an opportunity, he will capitalize on your mistakes. So looks like Mr. Roman needs to find a way to just pull a little bit further away from Mr. Prado if he wants to hold on to that P3.
You've got that right. You definitely don't want Mr. Prado hanging onto the back of your bumper. So Roman in 3, Prado in 4. We got Sam Rolfe up to P5 now. So he's gotten around Mr. Rally. Boy, oh boy. I am super impressed with Sam's driving. You know what? This guy has really, really come a long way, and I got nothing but good things to say about him. And Mr. Rally is not going to want to let this guy ahead of him, so he is cranking that Koenigsegg up.
Absolutely, and no doubt that Sam Rolfe is getting some help there from his teammate Sportelli. Sportelli always looking fast in that Ferrari 550 Maranello. So sharing speed secrets there as they come around that bend. Boy, I tell you, Sam Rolfe has got that. He's got that Ferrari flying.
Yeah, and that was lucky on Rally's part because he was way off in the grass, and he was lucky to hang on to that. So Sam actually must have a little bit of pace because David is really pushing that. A little farther back, we got Lawrence Weisman in 7, being hounded by Alex White, another one of our top drivers here. They definitely don't want him on your bumper. Sportelli into P9, and we got Juan Monroy and Kevin Savoy, and Savoy is all over the back of Monroy.
Yep, Savoy definitely with pace down these long straights. As we know, these drivers like to run low downforce wings. But on the corners, looks like these Ferraris are pulling away.
Yeah, I'm on board with Savoy now, and boy, oh boy, you can't stick a piece of paper between those cars right now. He is getting sucked down that back straightaway and giving him a push. And literally gave him a little bit of a push.
Absolutely, and he took over that 10th spot as he dipped down low into the inside of that left-hander turn.
Well, he did, but that was a gutsy move. He actually gave Juan a bit of a push, and I bet you Juan's not too happy about that. Full view of his Ford GT1. Big Al Merriman.
And it looks like we lost.
Go ahead. Who'd we lose, Ken?
Oh, just looking in the broadcast chat, looks like we lost Andres Cole, stating that everybody is crazy tonight.
Well, we knew that was going to happen, Andre. 30-minute dash for the cash. Big Al Merriman in 15. Ryan Schleif in 16, being hunted down by John Luden. Whoa! And he drove right in behind. Mr. Schleif drove his car off track, and John followed him right off track. It's funny how that happens the odd time. I've had it happen to myself.
It's happened numerous times when you're so focused on the car in front of you. Yeah, you tend to follow that person.
Christian Hamilton in 18, being hunted down by Salem Montgomery Jr. And Matt Taylor in 20th, Chuck Carter in 21st, and Dan Wilkerson in 22nd. Sergio Calderon in 23rd, and Thomas Schubeck in 24th. And it looks like Thomas might be sporting a little bit of damage on that Panos of his.
Yes, sirree.
Gup Douglas in 25. So, Brad Merys out in front. Now, we only have 12.
And I noticed that Gup Douglas had came in a little bit earlier for his pit. Not sure what happened there, but that put him down a lap.
Yeah, and that had to be for damage, possibly a flat tire, because these guys should have plenty of fuel to run 12 laps.
Oh, yeah.
And talking about 12 laps, what lap are we running right now?
So your leaders have, well, actually everybody minus the Gup Douglas is on the lead lap, lap 8. We've got 8 in the book so far, Jack.
4 more to go. It has been fast and furious tonight, Ken.
That it has been. It's evident in the way these guys are driving. We have unfortunately lost some, but those brave enough to stay out there are still pushing as hard as they possibly can.
And push, indeed they are. I would hazard to bet some of these guys have gone out on the softer compounds and just damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead.
Yeah, I could imagine they did. I mean, 12 laps is nothing for the soft tires to be able to handle. So absolutely, I could see everybody, just about everybody running softs.
So Brad in first, followed by Aaron Parsons, Rich Roman in third, Prado in fourth, and they've capped themselves out there a little bit too. Sam Rolfe in a solid 5, and then the freight train in behind him, Rally, Weisman, and Weisman having a look on the inside. Let's go on board with Weisman now. And Weisman makes the pass on David Rally, and it looks like a big accident, bumping and grinding going on there. Holy jumping, these guys are in tough, and it looks like Sportelli has jumped into the fray. We have got action galore.
Sportelli taking advantage.
And we've got Alex White in behind Rally now, so boy, oh boy, this is really getting, it's looking like NASCAR out there, for God's sake.
Yeah, with only 3 laps left to go, these guys know that they got to pour it on now. It's now or never for next week.
And, you know, they're all in good shape. But one disastrous move right now can put them at the back of the pack for the big feature next week. They are all in a big battle there. And you know who's getting... Oh, and it looks like Alex White has just made the move on Rally.
Yep, just jumped on board with Alex White, and I saw him just go by David Rowley.
But the guy who is, and a little farther behind there, we have got, sorry, I'm going the wrong way there, guys. We've got Juan Monroy, and he has got Kevin Savoy all over his rear bumper. And it looks like we've got Alex White off the track. Rowley's off the track. So we've got a lot of position changes. Rowley has dropped to 13. Alex White is down to 14. And now he's got Al Merriman all over the back of him. It looks like John Luden is going to try and make the pass on. And he has made the pass on Ryan Schleif, but Ryan has said, look out, I am coming back. Luden looking on the inside, thinks better of it. There, we've got, looks like we got Rowley off the track again, or is that Rowley? It is David Rowley off the track. And he is collecting also. Oh, geez, it looks like we've lost Hamilton, or, yeah, Christian Hamilton has just been decimated out there on the track. I can't keep up with it, Ken.
Ouch, ouch, that was painful to watch, Jack. Oh, wow.
Well, back up front where there's a little less action, Merys, Parsons, Roman, Prado, Sam Rolfe is running a spectacular race. I'm going to have to chat with this guy afterwards and congratulate him. He is running a solid fifth, and the other guys are just battling it out fiercely in between there. We got Savoy in 8th, Connie now up to 9th, Canavan in 10th, Andrew Werner, good on you, Andrew. We got Andrew in 11th, and David Poole's going to be happy with that. Alex White back on the track in 12th, Al Merriman in 13th, Luden and Schleif going tooth and nail, but boy, oh boy, that Aston Martin is fast on the straight. He takes Luden again. Luden looking on the inside. That Aston has got some serious balls. Excuse my French.
Yep, it looks like the Aston Martin certainly better on the top end, but the Pagani Zonda looks like he's got pace on the infield. So it's a little bit of give and take between these two.
And that is one great race for those two guys. Good on you, Ryan. Salem Montgomery in the last points paying position is 16, with Juan Monroy in 17, and Christian Hamilton after that big schmozzle in 18th, Matt Taylor in 19th, Rowley all the way back to 20, Dan Wilkerson in 21, followed by Chuck Carter. So Dan and Chuck are going at it. And Thomas Schubeck back in 23rd, Sergio Calderon in 24th, and Gup Douglas back in 25th. As you said, he had to make a pit stop. Woo, I'm out of breath.
Got Brad Merys coming by. Did he take the checkered? Did he take? Yep, he took the checkered flag, and that is it.
So we've got Merys, Parsons, Roman, and boy, that was close. Prado all over the back of him, so Roman is going to take P3. Prado in 4th. Sam Rolfe, wow, flashing his headlights. He is going to be one happy camper. Lauren Weisman in 6th. Sportelli in 7th. Savoy in 8th. Marco Conti in 9th. And Canavan in 10th. Andrew Werner in 11th. Alex White, who got mixed up in that battle, in 12th.
Yes, it was, Jack. Absolutely. So congratulations to those that improved on their qualifying position from earlier today. Good on you all.
Yeah, Hamilton back in 18th, Matt Taylor in 19th, Dan Wilkerson coming around to finish in 20th, followed by Chuck Carter. Not giving up till the end, though. And David Rowley with his whoops-a-daisies has put him back in 21st. Thomas Schubeck in 22nd. Sergio Calderon in 23rd. No, Gup Douglas is going to take 23rd as Sergio Calderon put it off track there. Andre Cole in 24th. Wow. Well, there you go. Didn't you say Brad Merys was one of your picks?
My pick tonight was, it was Brad Merys to win this 30-minute race tonight, Jack.
Well, you are all-knowing in picking that winner. That was good. It was a hell of a race for just about everybody on track tonight. Brad sure put on a clinic in the qualifying, and Mr. Parsons made a race of it, that's for sure.
Yep, he certainly did. So, well, this sets the stage for next week. Very interesting indeed, because we do have a couple of guys that did not show up tonight that may be showing up next week or did not finish tonight and will be racing from further back in the pack. And it's going to be very, very interesting. It's a long race at 3 hours next Thursday night. So, we hope to see you all there, and to all of our viewers, we hope that you'll be able to join us as well.
Yeah, it will be a little more reserved, I'm going to say, for 3 hours of racing, but never say never here at NAGP. These guys are super competitive. So, for us broadcast guys, I'm Jack Ivey along with Kenny K. Rodriguez, and we will be back at you next Thursday. Next Thursday, guys, it is an 8 o'clock start because we are going 3 hours. So, hope to see you then.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jack, and thank you to our viewers. We'll see you next week. Everybody, have a good evening and a great weekend. Enjoy the holiday.
Drive safely out there. Remember, beer on the pier, water on the water. Have a good long weekend, you guys.
Have a good night.